Now to the story of Jonathan Ferrell, the unarmed college student who was shot and killed by a North Carolina police officer in September. Today, Jonathan's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against that officer, Randall Carrick. The Charlotte police chief, the county, and the city were also named. Last September, Jonathan was driving home late at night when he crashed his car. He went to a house to ask for help. The woman inside thought he was a burglar and called 911. When police arrived, Officer Carrick fired 12 bullets at him, killing him. The lawsuit states Jonathan was unarmed and committed no crime. Quote, despite being completely incapacitated and mortally wounded, Mr. Ferrell was then handcuffed with his hands behind his back as he lay dying on the ground. The officer has been charged with voluntary manslaughter. The criminal case will go to a grand jury next Tuesday. The video from the police car dash cam has not been released, but sources told a local TV station what was on the tape.
Video from one or more of the patrol cars shows Ferrell was clearly empty-handed as he approached officers. At one point, Ferrell hiked up his pants, perhaps to show he had no weapons there either.
An unarmed young man gunned down by police. As the wheels of justice roll forward, relatives of Jonathan Ferrell say they still have too many unanswered questions. Joining me now are Jonathan Ferrell's mother, Georgia, and his brother, Willie. Also with us is the family attorney, Christopher Chestnut. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to express my condolences for your loss, Mrs. Ferrell. How are you holding up?
I'm doing well as expected. I'm holding up okay.
All right. Christopher, why is the family filing this lawsuit?
Well, Rev, you know, the civil justice system is really our only avenue right now. We've been waiting for an indictment since last year. The indictment didn't come, or at least it still hasn't come. So a grand jury is now being commenced the same day we file a lawsuit. So we're trying to make the wheels of justice roll a little faster here and get some answers to questions and get some evidence that we've been asking for day one and that have been concealed deliberately.
Why is it taking so long for them to decide on an indictment or not?
You know, it baffles me, Reverend Al. I mean, everyone knows what happened here. We got 12 shots, 10 at a downward angle into Jonathan Ferrell, who's unarmed, who's committed no crime, who's looking for help after being injured in an accident. It's very clear that this is cold-blooded murder. The only question is, why is it taking so long for us to have a criminal trial?
Now, the lawsuit states that officers can use force when, quote, the individual to be subdued is engaged in aggravated active aggression that are likely to result in the death or serious bodily injury to an officer. Miss Georgia Ferrell, does that describe your son, someone like that?
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Tell us about your son.
Jonathan was a very gentle young man. He obeyed the law. Jonathan never got in trouble outside of the home or at home. Jonathan was a very caring person. He loved everyone.
Now, and Reverend, that's why we want the video released. If you see the video, it is very telling that this is cold-blooded murder, that he was not an aggressor, that he posed no threat to Officer Carrick. Officer Carrick just killed him.
Now, Officer Carrick's attorney had no comment about the civil lawsuit, but he did say this about the criminal case, and I'm quoting, "We're confident that at the resolution of this case, it will be found that Officer Carrick's actions were justified on the night in question." What do you feel about that as your brother is the victim here and you're sitting there with your mother, Will?
First of all, I hate that the situation had to occur the way that it did, and we really want this stuff to take place so no other parent or family have to deal with the situations that our families have to deal with at the time. And we would really hate for another child or innocent person to have to deal with the danger of the stuff that my brother had to go through.
You know, one of the things that really I had to take a real pause back and look is, Georgia, when I heard that the family had decided to forgive in this situation. You want justice, but you hold no acrimony toward the officer.
No, I do not, Reverend, because I love God. And what I was taught in Sunday school, church from a child, to forgive. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord, but he do speak of justice. And I want full justice.
And Christopher, all you're seeking here is justice. Given what you see as the evidence, you feel this case should move forward in the court of law and let a jury decide on the fate of this officer, whether he be guilty or not.
Absolutely. And we want to see changes in the policies and procedures, the training. We want to know, how is it that a murderer could be hired and given this is an animal control officer who was suspended in his first year of employment at the police department. So we want to know how it is that he was hired at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. We want to know why there were 979 incidents in a 2-year span of injuries from arrest or attempted arrest at the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. There's a pattern in practice here, and we need answers because the safety of the citizens of Charlotte depend upon it.
Now, you have seen the tape that they will not release from the dash cam video. What's on the tape?
Murder. Murder. It illustrates the fact that this officer at no time was under threat. As highlighted by the fact that he's flanked by 2 other officers who never fire 1 shot. But you hear that it's the succession of the shots, Reverend, now that is so convicting of him. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, pause. 1, 2. That's 2 pauses. That's 2 times, 2 opportunities to stop. All the bullets from the autopsy report are downward and at an angle. He's shooting down. This man posed no threat to him. This was a man looking for help.
And then after he was mortally wounded, they handcuffed him while he was on the ground.
Reverend, now, the epitome of barbaric inhumanity was the fact that the medical examiner had to remove the handcuffs from this young man's hands. They handcuffed him after he was dead, shot 10 times.
Georgia Farrell, what do you say to people around the country that are watching you tonight as you stand and ask for justice for your son, saying you're forgiving, but you want justice? What do you want to say to America tonight?
I want full justice, and I pray that no one else in America or anywhere else have to have their child brutally murdered the way Jonathan was.
Georgia,
Jonathan, one of the best people you could meet. Yes.
Georgia and Willie Farrell, I want to thank you both. And again, you have our condolences and in my prayers. And Christopher Chestnut, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Reverend.
We'll be right back.